Do you watch Rachel Maddow? If not, you should. I usually watch the podcast on the way to Salem in the morning. Last night's show featured a story from Maine, where the legislature is trying to move back child labor laws a full century.
So we have laws in Maine and in the rest of this country that restrict what kind of jobs kids can do, how many hours they can work, etc. Right now, if you are a kid working in Maine, even if you can only get a minimum wage job, you're still getting paid minimum wage. If Republicans get their way, if you are a kid in Maine, you will be privileged to receive not $7.50 an hour anymore, but $5.25 an hour. And one of the great Orwellian moments in all of this, the House version of this bill in Maine, is called an act to enhance access to the workplace for minors. Yeah, how enhanced do you feel to be working more hours during the school year for less money?
Scary, horrific, disgusting. But at least you're telling yourself, we won't let that happen here in Oregon, right? Here's House Bill 3279, introduced by Representative Vicki Berger.
This was brought to me by my Children and Families Commission. Their concern, and I think we all share this concern, is that there's a lot of young people out there who desperately need to be working at some level, and this would basically authorize employers to pay them an hourly wage consistent with federal minimum wage.
Because the bill proposes a youth employment wage of 90 days only, it would not create competition between adult workers and youth. At least that's our belief. Instead, it would serve as an incentive for employers to hire young people.
In Maine, the sub-minimum wage would be in effect for 180 days. In Oregon, for 90 days. Therefore, the length of employment for youth in those states is likely to be 179 days and 89 days, respectively. Here in Oregon, as in the Midwest, these proposals to undo a century of labor progress is not sitting well with Democrats.
You want to do a good thing, but lowering the minimum wage for Oregon workers doesn't seem to be, on the whole, a benefit. And again, right now we have a lot of people out of work and a lot of people that are seeking work. And when the unemployment goes down...
The federal minimum wage is $7.25 per hour. It's been $7.25 per hour since 2009. This is not a living wage, and yet it's what adults with families are trying to make a living off of throughout Oregon.
Because I represent working people, blue-collar people, people who had good manufacturing jobs and now are working 2 and 3 minimum wage jobs, adults who are taking jobs that normally young people and teenagers would take because we have such high unemployment.
Maine's minimum wage is $7.50. The sub-minimum wage they're proposing for youth is $5.25 an hour. And that's along with rolling back most of their child labor protection laws at the same time.
If you want to talk about incentivizing jobs for kids, great, but I just can't get to paying less than the minimum wage, because quite honestly, when you say we blend it to a living wage, I would have a hard time making it on $8.50 an hour.
I'd like to close with Representative Bill Kennemer, who touches on the real need for providing living wage jobs here in Oregon.
We all have different paths in this world, and I got to say good grades were one of the things that really made a difference in my life. Allowed me to be the first person in my extended family to ever go to college, and helped me get through scholarships in college and eventually in graduate school, and that with part-time work I was able to make it. And so I encourage you to get good grades.
So from the world headquarters of the Action Tab, this is T.A. Barnhart. Goodbye.